Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A55 and see how it compares against the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE and see which particular phone is the better one for you. Now, I will definitely tell you when it comes down to both of these devices, there is a lot of capability and a lot of quality behind both these phones. I like them a lot. I think there's clearly one that is probably way better than the other one for sure, but we'll talk about that throughout this whole entire video. First of all, if you are planning on buying any sort of one of these devices, again, if you're going to pick them up, the cheapest links that I can find on Amazon, I'll leave them linked down below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. So, starting off with the outside of both these particular phones, the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE, which came out late last year, on the front of it has a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. And overall, it's definitely a really good panel. It's something that I like a lot about this particular phone, and it is a really nice, cool little thing that you're getting inside of this particular device. It's definitely not like the most perfect phone panel of all time, but it's not terrible, and I do feel like if I'm going through and getting any sort of device, these are very, very decent and good options. The Galaxy S23 FE is giving you a 120Hz display at that as well, which is another really nice thing. And like I said before, if I'm going through and picking up a device, I do like the fact that this particular phone is giving me a very good, somewhat modern panel. The A55, on the other hand, is giving me a little bit of a bigger display. So it's 6.6 inches, so it's 0.2 inches bigger, but also it's still 1080p. But it is a 120Hz display on this one as well. The main difference here though, although the A55 is bigger, the S23 FE is giving you a brighter display, so 1000 nits on the A55 versus 1450 on the S23 FE. So just from that side alone, you are overall getting a brighter panel and probably overall the better panel on the S23 FE. But there's not even that big of a difference, like it's kind of up to you whatever one you'd kind of decide to get. On the bottom, they're both giving you USB Type-C ports, but there is a slight difference in the expandability in terms of storage. The S23 FE does not have a microSD card slot, where the Galaxy A55 is actually giving you a microSD card slot inside of that phone. So that right there is a very nice thing to have inside of that particular phone. Like if I'm going through and trying to buy a device, I do like the fact that the Galaxy A55 is giving me that type of capability of giving me that expandable storage. This in and of itself is a very, very nice thing, and I really, really like that about that particular phone. Again, none of these phones are perfect, but it is a super cool thing that you have that type of capability inside of something like the Galaxy A55, in my personal opinion. On the backside, you're getting a little bit of a difference here too, although they look almost identically the same. Both of them are giving you glass backs, which again is really cool. Triple camera setups on both these phones again, which is very, very nice. And I would say from that side overall, there's a lot of good capability and a lot of good quality behind both these phones. I don't really think there's like one phone that's like exponentially the way better one than the other one, but I would probably say that if I'm going to go through and buy one of these phones, I would probably say a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE is probably the one that might be better for the average person. But again, that's not a bad thing either with the A55. I think the A55 is killing it in so many different ways too. And I don't know if there's one that I would look at and be like so happy about each one, but I do feel like the A55 and the S23 FE are very, very good phones when it comes down to it for sure. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. From a software experience standpoint, this is where the S23 FE is probably going to be a significant winner and have a lead at. With the S23 FE, this phone has the higher likelihood of basically lasting longer than the A55. Right now, they're both still supported with software. There isn't really anything going on for either one of these in a negative way. But I'd probably say that if you're going to pick up one, the S23 FE is probably going to be the one that's going to last a longer period of time. And if I'm going to go ahead and buy one, that's usually what's going to end up happening. I feel like with a phone like the A55, it's still here, it's still supported, and there's not too many issues with it. But with the Galaxy, S23 FE, that is probably going to be the one that's probably going to be I would say it's going to be a phone that's not going to last as long as the A55 in my personal opinion. Or it's not going to last as long as the S23 FE in my personal opinion. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there as well. From the performance side, both these phones are also a little bit different here too. So with the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE, you're getting that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside, which is still really good. And we'll get into performance in a second. I kind of got ahead of myself. From the camera perspective, both these phones are very interesting here as well. So from the camera side, they're both giving you triple camera setups on paper, but one is better than the other one. With the Galaxy S23 FE, you're getting a wide telephoto and ultra-wide camera, whereas on the A55, you're getting a wide ultra-wide macro lens. So you're not getting a telephoto lens inside of the A55, which can be kind of annoying because you're not going to be able to zoom in. You have 3 times optical zoom inside of the S23 FE. The A55 does not have that. Now on top of that, you're getting 4K at 30 on the front and the back of the A55, but you can do up to 8K on the back of the S23 FE and 4K at 60 on the front of the S23 FE. Just that in and of itself means to me and speaks to me that the A55 is not going to be as good of a phone, I would say, in terms of the camera as the S23 FE. if you're trying to get the phone that's going to be giving you the better type of camera, it's quite clearly, in my opinion, going to be the S23 FE. This phone is going to be giving you a lot more capability from that camera side. If I'm going to go through and get some sort of a camera, I mean, it's definitely going to be the S23 FE in my personal opinion. That is going to be a significantly better camera in my personal, side of things. But that also goes down to like social media apps and all those other applications as well. Those are going to be giving you just a much better experience inside of the S23 FE than the Galaxy A55. So take it as you will, but that's just kind of what ends up happening when you're getting a phone like the A55 versus the S23 FE in my personal opinion. So from that side, again, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now on top of that, with the S23 FE, it is going to be a little bit cheaper of a phone in the used market than a brand new Galaxy A55. So that's another big advantage for something like the Galaxy, S23 FE, because that phone, although it doesn't, it costs more in the brand new market, it's still going to be giving you an overall cheaper experience in the used market from a price tag standpoint than the Galaxy A55. So the reason why Samsung for the most part didn't make the Galaxy A55 in America was mostly because they didn't want to go ahead and cannibalize sales of the S23 FE. So they basically made the same phone in two different markets, which is kind of funny. So with something like the S23 FE, this is going to overall be the better phone probably for a lot of people, but it's not going to be available all over the place. But the places it is available at, it is probably going to be a cheaper experience for some people. So keep that in mind as well, and that's just, again, kind of what ends up happening for these types of devices. So performance-wise, finally, the Galaxy S23 FE has that, Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside with 8 gigs of RAM. The A55 has that Exynos 1480 chipset inside with 6, 8, or 12 gigabytes of RAM. And personally for me, what I can definitely tell you is, in my personal opinion, both these phones do a really good job at, like I said, most things you throw at it. And that is actually a really nice thing that you kind of get from both these devices. But I feel like with the S23 FE, this is going to be a significantly better device probably for the average person. With the A55, it's still a good phone, don't get me wrong, and that is a device that's going to be giving you like pretty solid experience, throughout. But if you're trying to get a phone that's going to be giving you like the overall better experience, it's probably going to be the Galaxy S23 FE. Although the A55 is still good for a lot of people, and there's really not kind of like too much to complain about here from that particular side of things, I definitely do feel like a phone like the S23 FE is probably going to be the one that's going to be giving you the better experience. It's a better chipset, it's the better basically everything across the board, and that's kind of what ends up happening with these types of devices. So once again, take it as you will, but I definitely do look at a phone like the S23 FE as being the overall better one in this area as well. And finally, to kind of sum it up, what I'll definitely tell you is, if I'm going to go and pick up one of these devices, it's probably going to end up being the Galaxy S23 FE. I think this is a significantly better phone in almost every single way than the Samsung Galaxy A55. I think the A55 is good depending on where you're going and depending on where you're going to get it from. But I do think, like, if I'm going to go through and pick up a device, the S23 FE is probably the one that I'd look at as probably being the better, more significant one for the average person. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.